The financial advisor.
Accountant.
Yes. Yeah, I've got glasses.
It's Gex.
Yo, Gex.
Sorry, boys, I must have got lost on the way.
It's fine. You're all right. We were suggesting that you were hungover, but to be honest, the fellas are barely out of bed.
We just started.
Yeah, we're more or less just starting. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't missed anything but the recap. The long rest.
Long rest?
Yeah, it's next morning.
I tried to push long rest on your sheet, but I can't do it.
Whoever's the owner of the campaign. So.
Gav.
You can do it now.
I still have inspiration?
You do still have your inspiration token.
Good shit.
It's not been spent.
I don't.
Sam spent it. Yeah.
On the first roll of the night.
Yeah.
Nice. I've had 2 shandies and a pint of Guinness and gave blood today, so bear with me.
Great.
I ate loads of food.
If we hear a thud and you are very quiet from there on out,
I'll be good.
Alright, good lad.
I'll just vape constantly to keep my blood pressure up.
If we hear of a thud and you fall over and go quiet, we'll ban you.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Grand. Yeah, literally all that's happened. The fellas are going over a plan, but you've long rested and also have an in-character hangover.
I am more of the execution type of person, really.
Well, so Jethro's the bodyguard. Titus is the money man. I'll be the talker, and Tor can be our expert.
Are we
spinning a line of bullshit to meet this fella?
We're spinning a load of bullshit, yeah, but we're going to go down to the wood brokerage that we passed on the way into town, and we're going to have a gander around, and we'll chat to everyone, and we'll see who got the best prices and what type of wood they have, and we'll just get our eyes on Movus. If I can, I will try to detect his thoughts, and I will see what we see. Keep our eyes open.
Well, I can punch him if needs be.
We'll give you the signal. You'll know it when it happens.
Right.
You mean to say you can hear one's thoughts, if you wish?
Well, upon the use of certain magics known to specialist folk. Yes. So don't worry, I wouldn't bother. I mean, I wouldn't scan yours.
I'm sure you wouldn't understand them anyway.
Part of my training involves deep meditation, which means that I can completely empty my head of thoughts, so you don't have to worry about me.
Jethro and an empty head.
All right, well, gentlemen, that's the road we entered on. Let's stroll back down it. As far as I know, this brokerage only opens for the morning.
Town centre isn't particularly big, and the area that you've walked through, it doesn't take more than a few minutes to get back to the guarded bridge, and then across the bridge to, as I say, the brokerage. The brokerage area is well served, and so people have come in from other areas. There are carts set up for people coming in, and there is some timber there, more than there was yesterday when you passed through. Some things have been brought in, and obviously cut to sample size and to show off. So there are a lot thin cross sections of very large trees that are good for showing off the quality of wood, that sort of thing. And it is a bit of a bustle. There is quite a lot going on, but people are they talk quietly to one another. They stood together discussing things. People seem in good spirits. It's as I say, early enough that it doesn't feel like this is anywhere near as busy as this place is going to get through the morning. You know, and more or less people are still setting up around you, but they are saying hello to one another and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to see if I can identify this Movus character.
Yeah.
Just by his busyness. You know what I mean? Like if he's the one kind of holding court here.
Okay.
What I kind of like to do is approach everyone else first.
Okay.
First of all, to get an idea of how much they're charging and what they're selling. So I can go into a negotiation with Movus with a bit more education.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds to see if I can grab you a list of what businesses there are locally. Give me, what do you think that would be? An insight check to try and give a kind of glean a sense of what's going on here in terms of social hierarchies, in terms of
Perception, I would have thought. Because
yeah, yeah.
But you're trying to perceive who
Well, you're
is
studying
the
people
top
there.
dog.
Yeah, I'll give you the
And then-
choice there, Gav, of an insight or a perception check.
It's the same for both of them,
It's
so
the same bonus, yeah.
I'll do.
I've
That's
got-
a terrible roll.
I got proficiency
Not
in
great.
insight. I got like a +8.
If you'd like to pitch me a role, so what are you looking to work? Are you looking to work out the same things in terms of social hierarchy, in terms of who's there with the with
Yeah.
the big bollocks and the most
Who
money?
is the alpha?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Which is something my bloke would understand. I'd have thought.
Yeah.
No. So that's 11.
Same roll as me. Okay, so we're a bit clueless here. Well, in that case, we're picking somebody with a clipboard or somebody
Yeah.
with a pen and
No
paper.
problem.
Just walk around asking for notes.
Maybe we should look for who's got the biggest point of money on the chart.
Let me kind of set the scene there for you. So as I say, people are setting up. It's not stalls, but a couple of people are opening shutters. A couple of people are setting up. Stalls is almost the word. Tents, somewhere between stalls and tents, for actually doing, discussing things and to give people some shelter from the wind or the sun, or if there were any rain. So that sort of thing. Things have been carted in, but they seem pretty well, drilled on it, and people have got regular pitches. The grass and the ground is different in areas where they are pitching to where people might walk around there. There's a couple of humans. So there's a man in kind of soft flannel clothing with some younger men around him. You might surmise from the resemblance that they are his sons. There are a couple of dwarfs, a pair of dwarfs of indeterminate gender. There is an elf woman who clearly has some staff from the way that she's looking at them. You don't need too high insight checks for that. They are, of mixed heritage. There's a man and the 2 men and a halfling there, and they are setting things up for her. There is a gnome. And he has some weird clockwork setup where he is winding the canopy of a large, I guess you could surmise it to be an umbrella, out over an area, and then has some other things which look like folded up boxes, which might unfold into things. That is it for businesses being set up there in the area at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, is the name Movis? Does it strike me as elvish or dwarvish or human?
I think Ferrex might have said it was an elf name anyway.
Okay.
So it's an elf name, yeah.
Oh. Okay, well let's go up to the gnome and just check with him first.
Sure, yeah. And he looks up at you and says, "Greetings. Yeah, haven't entirely set up yet, but on my way. I'll be there in a jiffy. If you know what you're looking for, then I'd be more than happy to help you out with certain things. I don't know you. I'm wondering if we've seen you here before in Penvaden, or if you're just passing through these things. Do you have a card? I'll see if I can get you a card in a moment.
My card, sir.
Can I say hello
No.
to him in halfling?
To the gnome,
Yeah.
you can, and he looks at you and goes, "Yeah."
Because I don't speak Gnomish, I'm just going out on a limb.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Short ass language might translate.
Yeah.
So, no, we are new here. I'm inquiring on behalf of my lord. I don't know what I'm after exactly. So maybe we'll come back to you in a few minutes.
Very
after
well.
you've set up.
Yes, of course, yeah. It'll be a couple of moments. Just about now, and he holds the crank in place and pulls a pin from a pocket on his jerkin and sticks it into the umbrella thing. Says, yes, it'll be a couple of seconds. Anyway, my name is Fizga, Haradumph, Futurgal Fuzger, and I represent the mechanical guild here in the forest. We've been working pretty hard to get down our cropping efficiency really well and our transportation. But where did you say you were from?
Porthmarn.
You're from Papa? Oh, excellent. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Yeah, lovely. And he's taken a card from you, I suppose, or something.
Yep.
And he will pull a similar one from his thing, and it is ornately decorated. This card, you can just about make out the name in this busy kind of square of illumination and text, and gnomish names are 1.5 feet long anyway, so
Mechanics Guild. Very interesting. I didn't realize there would be such technology involved in the simple felling of trees.
but we find that the transportation and the greatest efficiency requires a certain finesse in the application thereof. And therefore, we've been able to increase our rates over, for example, and he points over towards the human, that's over towards his right, and just taps his nose and doesn't say anything more on that subject.
I understand. Thus driving down prices, I assume.
Well, we try to ensure a high quality, high yield for the price, if that's understandable with you. Although it means then that certain costs have to be offset. And anyway, I'll not lay into all of these things too much. Come to me when you've got a little bit clearer information, and I can work out what we can do for you. If you're working for a lord, and
Yep.
he then seems like he's talking to himself and he's counting on his fingers.
And dude,
Yeah.
take care. I'll start to sidle over towards the human.
Yep. This chap who is, like I say, the guy is in his 40s. He's got younger men, probably his sons, around him, and he turns around and looks at you, and instantly has that kind of smile that men get that makes their whole face fold up into a ball of wrinkles. And as he sees you walking over, he comes forward and holds his hand out.
I'll take it.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Name's Black. On behalf of my lord, I was to inquire about pricing for timber.
Yeah. Well, you've come to the right place. Name's James. These are my boys.
Good morning.
What are you looking
British.
for, timber-wise?
Long lengths of, and I look back towards Tor, various types, I believe, shipworthy timber.
Oh,
Yeah.
it'll be oaks and the like then. Good solid
Yeah.
wood.
I have my specialist here will verify the quality of the wood and quantity necessary for such tasks, but for the moment we're just seeing what Penvaden has to offer.
Oh yes, well, and he reaches over and grabs a bit of wood about the size of a house brick and kind of holds it up to you. Yeah, float half the way across the globe on that. You could.
I'll take it from him. Look at it. It kind of, I
It's wood.
know the names of trees.
It's wood.
I'm
It's cut in ways
educated
that
in that
shows
sort
it
of
grain.
way.
Yeah.
Having a taste
And
it.
it shows the grain, but unfortunately I need 60-foot lengths of this, preferably with as little knots in as possible, and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, we
you know
can
how
do that.
the shipwrights can be.
Indeed, I do. Yep, we've specialised in serving them, James and Sons, for 4 generations now.
4 generations. Well, that's something.
Oh yeah, I've been working in Penvan, about as long as old Bunce over there. And he points at the dwarfs.
And how's business?
Well, booming, I would say. The town's doing well. What with the war and all, there's no high demand for ships, high demand for carts.
Well, that's very true. That's why we need them as well.
I know old Farrick's in town's been preaching the old balance and restoration and that, but honestly, as the folks in the Marnes will say, we make hay while the sun shines. I know that's a rum business.
Yeah, that would be my motto as well, even if it does apply to arable land.
My
I
master
kind of
used to
screw my
say.
face up in the back.
My master used to say, if you do not maintain balance, you fall on your ass.
Oh, yep, that's
Wasn't
a
your
good line
master a
enough.
drunk?
Yeah? He was really
never
good.
fell over.
He never
You
fell
do not
over.
mean. Yeah.
What?
Well then, James and Sons, looking at them. How much for it? Well, how is it sold? This is my first time at this type of venture, I admit.
Oh.
I'm a little uneducated in the thing. Is it sold by the ton, the lengths, the quality?
We sell by weight. I would estimate one ship's worth of, well, high quality oak.
What,
Might
10,
come
20
through
tons?
to. That'd be reasonable. In which case, well, for mid-quality stuff, we could match you up to, let's say, 100 gold a ton.
100 gold is 1,000.
2,000.
Oh, thank you. Yes. And then the problem
I'll
of
be noting all this
transport.
down.
So, as we said, we're from Port Marne, or maybe I didn't mention that. I'm from Port Marne, and we would like to have this shipped there. But if at all possible, we would like to have it shipped by land.
No.
Is that something that could be done, do you think?
Well,
we would, of course, provide the protection and transport, but...
See, protection would be my main concern. Some of the forests further south have been, shall we say, unlawfully occupied. I'm hoping our local lordships perhaps can deal with a little bit of that, if there were such a thing.
Who is the local lord here?
Well,
this land was...
much of the forest is, shall we say, common or of the crown. I believe it would be negotiation between, what is the family, Claxtons, that cover a lot of the Marne land, and then, well, the Rousselets themselves, the royals, and then the Erics from Shymeet. I believe a negotiation between them. Well, I'd not go so far as to fuss the Biscuits. What are the fucking family from Allah called? Can't recall it.
Would I know them? I probably would know quite a few of the head names here.
Yeah, so the Herrick from Shymeet, Lord Herrick from Shymeet rings a bell to you. Hang on, I've got to get my own notebook out for this to remind myself what the noble family over in Hala are called. And it is a dwarf family there called... Fuck's sake, where have I put it? Fuck it, right, I'm going to just change it. The dwarf family there called... what's a good dwarf name? And I'll just go through and edit the whole thing. They are a dwarf family there called Ironhand. That are the...
All right.
in Hala.
Well then. So I suppose
And
for
I'll
our
just have to
concerns, it'd be
edit
more
the notes
about
there another
Lord
time.
Claxton.
Well,
we could easily negotiate with him.
it's him that covers a lot of the land for the Marnes, and I suppose if you wanted to head into the forest here, but I suppose nobody really rules the forest, save, well, Farrick's you might meet if you head into town.
Oh, yes, yeah, no, I met Farrick's last night when I went to pray.
I'll have been appreciating that. He's had an awful time lately, some way or another. Hard to tell with the chap, really, but...
Place is looking a little light on patronage.
Yeah, not quite sure about that myself. I mean, the church is well established, as old as the new faith can be. Varix has been there forever, I hear. Longer than, well, as I said, 4 generations at least.
Arx was an elf, was he?
Yes.
Yeah. So you should remind Gav. Okay, well, James, thank you for your time and your knowledge, and I'm sure we'll be back to you.
Well, I suppose so. I wanted to ask around, but tell you what, that Ponce Bonce over there makes you a better offer. Come and speak to us again. I'll get one of my boys to show you the quality of some wood versus his.
Oh, of course, we'll be back.
Are you going to head over to the dwarf's stall? Or
Yeah.
there was one other with an elf woman who had staff that were 2 men and a halfling.
No, we'll hit the dwarf stall first, and we'll pretty much go through the same game.
One of them has been named as Buns to you, but you're not quite sure which one.
All right then. Is there a Master Bunce here?
One of the dwarfs. Both of the dwarfs look up and go, yeah, Bunce is Bunce is
Right. And I'll say in Dwarvish, greetings. My name is Master Black from Porthmarn, and we're here to inquire about the price of your wood.
Hearing somebody speak dwarf, both of them kind of straighten up a little bit, and they nod their heads a little bit more. Does anybody else in the group speak dwarf?
I do.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I do.
Draconic or giant?
Yeah.
I will chuckle when he mentions about the quality of his wood.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
Now we were looking to purchase somewhere between 10 and 20 ton, and to have it shipped as well. We'd be looking for lengths of wood capable of constructing medium-sized vessels, 60-footers, things like that.
There's a nod between the two of them because eventually the one on your left speaks and says, "Glad you said that. You said the weight first. I was first going to say of what? After all, we've walnut, we've hazel, we've
Well,
chestnut,
my
we've
advisor
oak,
here suggests that a good oak should be good enough.
Cedar.
willow. Don't see an awful lot of cedar. But if it's oak that you're looking for,
Nothing too water absorbent,
hmm.
as it's meant to be on the sea or in the river.
And the one to your right goes into a box and starts looking through what you can assume is something like a logbook. Oh, pardon the pun. A record book. And eventually nods. Nods are exchanged between them and said, "Yeah, we could do that. Yeah."
We'd be just first inquiring about price.
Would depend a little.
Well, to give you an estimate of time is not so important to us.
Take the bit of wood. These haven't offered us some wood to look at yet, have they? No.
No, they have not yet.
It would be weeks or months. We're in no extreme rush for it.
Oh. Well,
which may allow you to prioritize other work.
And over road, you said?
That's true.
Yeah? Okay.
We'll provide security.
And there's a bit of pencil scratching and a bit of a nod between the two again. And the one that's been speaking eventually says, "Oh, maybe maybe 1,800 gold pieces for
10
that.
ton.
Yeah.
How much was the first one?
He wanted 1,000 gold pieces
2,000.
for 10 tons.
Obviously, it would be varying on each log, though. You'd have to check them over, make sure there's no rot, no worms, no beetles.
There's a sharpness to the dwarf's glance, and you surmise that what you're saying might be rude to even suggest.
I'm a druid. I know what these animals and trees were.
I would like
protect your investments.
my friend here to be able to take a look at the wood, just as first-time customers, so trust can be built.
And the one that's been speaking goes and opens a box and brings out, rather than looking like heartwood from a large trunk, it is a limb. But he passes it over to you. It's very well seasoned and seems lighter than it should for the solidity to it. There's no flex to it at all. You can surmise this is really good quality wood.
Okay, so I don't even need to do a roll for that.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. It's just
Cool.
stuff I want to
I'm
tell
just going to give it a fucking sniff in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, so it doesn't seem to have. It seems to be very well seasoned. You can surmise that this might have been sitting.
From the smell, can I
its store.
tell what type of wood it is? Can I
Yeah,
tell
it's
if it is oak
From
or
the
is it?
look.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Probably
You can
does.
tell from the look of it. Yeah, it's nice white oak. It's still got the bark on it, but the bark is dried and again solidified. It wouldn't take a lot to take it off.
This has
Um,
been air dried, has it?
Yes, it's been air dried. That one was hewn, and he counts on fingers, and he says that one was hewn in September 2 years past. It was drawn up from near a stretch of bog about 14 miles away. We have 5 tons from that particular tree in storage. It was a brilliant specimen, if you ask me. Very proud of that one. That's why we keep that bit around.
Much higher quality than the lads over there. I'm going to hide my thumb as I'm pointing back through my chest towards James and Sons.
And do you replace the trees you chop down?
We try to practice coppicing techniques, so as to maintain the trees. Again, we guard locations of certain trees so that they are not over harvested.
That's good then.
But occasionally they are felled entirely. It would be very difficult to provide the quantities that you are asking for without entirely felling. And I think an order the size of yours, we could accommodate. And there's a bit of a glance again between the two. We could accommodate 5 times that amount on current reserves.
I'll be nodding.
If we were going into the shipwright business, these would be the boys I'd suggest going with out of character. Considering we're meant to be.
And tell me, Master Bunce, does everyone practice these same methods and have the same respect for the forestry around here?
There's a very small shaking of the head, and again, he doesn't want to say too much. Make me an insight check.
Well, I assume that young gnome over there, or that old gnome over there, whatever he is, and his machines have just eaten through the forest. That's an insight of critical fail.
Yeah, for a total of
3.
yeah, for a total of 3. Yeah, there's not. It's just a no, basically.
Yeah, okay.
You know, but he doesn't want to say. The dwarf doesn't want to really say.
Well,
yeah.
Masters Bunce, this is the best wood we've seen so far in Penvaden. But I have to do my due diligence, and we'll have to check in with Mr. Movis as well. So, until later, maybe, or perhaps we'll be back tomorrow. Good morning.
I'll introduce you to Luann. She's Movis's representative. You've heard the name, I suppose, by reputation?
We have.
All right. And the one that hasn't been speaking as much and was looking in the books starts walking you over. And they are the slightly taller of the two dwarfs, this one, and walk quite straight and upright over towards the group. And you realise on approach that there's almost a deliberate height, you know.
He's puffing himself up like.
Yeah, he's trying to stand as tall as they can, you know, especially because the first person that they come to is the halfling there.
Hello.
And the dwarf waves over to the elf woman and beckons her over and says, Luann, these folks are up from Porthmarn. They have heard about Movis's timber yard, came all the way to see it, but we've spoken to them first. They're interested to see what you've got, though. You know, how it compares to ours. Folks, this is Luann. She is the representative for Movis's timber yard. I hope you do very well. Enjoy your stay.
She's the elf.
She's the elf
not
woman.
The halfling. Yeah,
she's the elf woman. The others are not being spoken to, although they are themselves kind of chattering and grumbling, and you know, saying that it's a nice day, but that, you know.
Well, Mistress Luann, and I'll bow, hand her my card. My name's Mr. Black from Porthmarn, and we're coming as Master Bunt said here, looking for some quality timber and the lengths necessary to build ships.
Yeah. Luann will first address the dwarf and say, thank you for the introduction. And Mr. Black, a pleasure to meet you and your entourage.
This here is Tor, my wood specialist. He's a capable druid. Has a nose for the quality. And then Mr. Titus here is our financial expert. And
I'll
then
push my glasses up my nose. He says that.
We wouldn't travel these southern roads without our good friend Jethro to keep us safe.
Oh no, I hear that they can be quite treacherous, especially over the nights.
They can indeed.
Treacherous to bandits, eh, Jethro? They'll burn.
We did have a little trouble on the way up here.
Oh dear, nobody hurt, I hope.
No, we're all fine.
No one important.
And nothing too precious lost.
No one of age. So.
No.
Well then. Shall we sit? And she walks. There are 3 chairs, one for her that she climbs into, and there are 2 others. Kind of, you know, folding like director's chairs, you know.
Yeah, I'll take one of them.
And you're sitting in the shade, and you know, you realise
something like that. No.
She says, "Well, you are interested in shipbuilding, is that correct?"
Yes, we were looking for initial purchase of about 10 tons of white oak in lengths of up to 60 feet, or thereabouts. Initial judge of quality, to be passed obviously by my man here, Tor. And it was a fact-finding mission of sorts. I'm trying to price everyone out, see what...
Oh, indeed, we can certainly price people out, I'm sure.
Well,
and
is white oak something you can easily get your hands on?
Quite easily, I'm sure. And in those quantities, well, to transport... Porthmarn represents a mild challenge. There's typically a levy, as I'm sure you were aware, for goods passing out of Abervaden rather than supporting the businesses there. Although perhaps we could arrange a lift and waiver there. We're on rather good terms with the customs officer in the military encampment there.
Oh,
And
in
seeing as it
Abervarden,
is-
yes.
Seeing as any would be staying in the country, and directly supporting our nation's fleet, navies, what have you.
And what, may I ask, is the tides in Abervarden and the turnaround time for a journey, say, from here to Porthmarn?
Oh, well, it wouldn't be more than a day down the river and another day with good tides, as I say to you. I would expect 2 days.
Well, that is faster than expected.
Oh, well, you see, we are very experienced in such things. We are well established here in Penvaden. My employer, Movis, whom you heard of, I understand, has been established here for quite some time.
Oh, a legacy here, I assume.
Well, he doesn't speak about it an awful lot, if I'm entirely honest, but his, let's say, he was one of the first to set stakes in the ground in this forest when the new faith was being established all those years ago. Him and Farrax, whom you'll meet in town if you spend any time here, they are old friends. They've known each other an awfully long time.
Ah, okay. Yes, I did bump into Farrax last night when I went for my nightly prayers.
Oh, you've met.
He's a bit of an odd fellow. Seems like he's inhabiting that temple of his all to himself.
Oh, and there's a kind of mock of sadness or disappointedness on her face, on Luann's face. I'm sorry you had to see the way this town is very pious, I assure you. We do very well for the lessons bidden out by the Temple of the Harvest and Forestry. Indeed, Farrax is a beloved figure here, very well respected by all who pass through.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Kind of give the impression that I don't care one way or the other. It's like, it's just a offhand comment. So now, can we get down to price, Mr. Sloan?
Of course. Now, I believe you said you would like to see a sample?
If one could be provided, yes.
And she waves to one of the men at her side, and one of them reaches through a sack and brings out. And it's much like the sample that was shown to you by James. What you have is as a short beam, effectively, sort of thing that you'd use. I don't know, as a floorboard in a narrow room or something like that. And she passes it over to you. Such stock sold upon the ton, with transportation, with coverage of any and all duties foreseeable at this stage, we can arrange for 75 gold on the ton, assuring minimum order quantities are met. Which, from the sounds of it, you would be quite within the range of.
Well, that is interesting. I'll hand the piece in my hand over to Tor to take a look at.
Give me a second. I'm going to give her an insight check. No, fuck it. I'm just going to.
Do you want a deception check from me?
Well, are you trying to deceive? Are you trying to?
Well, I'm trying to play the role I'm trying to play.
Yeah, I think. No, I think she's got this down script. So she reams off as though it is from a script. So you may be wondering how we can manage to be so much cheaper than, say, our competitors. And she waves a flat hand around here. And the simple truth is that all of these businesses, when sailing wood down the river, use our boats. They offload and unload through our timber yard. We own the very land on which this brokerage is taking place. And as such, our customers enjoy the benefits. Vic, if you're taking a look at the wood, you can make me a nature check.
How much did you say, Jed, for money?
75 per ton.
I'm making notes of this anyway.
That is ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
But she did also say through Aberfadden prior to any unforeseen.
That's 15 plus 6.
15 plus 6. You can get a really good look at this bit of wood, and it is well cut. The cut is very straight, it's very even, and then it's been probably not sanded, but it's very even. There's no kind of roughness to the edges of it, apart from on the very sheer ends where
Like it's been machine cut.
It feels that way, but it could well have been done by an expert with a saw.
Yeah.
Just somebody very experienced. The wood itself is not as old as you would like. It is not as well seasoned as you might as the one that the dwarf showed you. And there is something about it where the grain feels stretched or more spaced apart in a way that you don't see very often, and you can surmise. I mean, you've rolled a total of a 21 there, so it is almost as though it has been. The wood has grown faster than it should, if that makes sense. The normally you would look for the rings in the core, and the rings themselves seem thicker than they should be.
So it's like someone's used a spell to speed up its growth.
That might be what you would surmise, yes.
Something strange about this wood.
So, Tor.
When we were looking at the other ring, at the dwarf's wood, you notice the rings at the end of the limb. How close they are and how many live. The rings count how old it is.
Luann bats her eyes at you, and she's going to interrupt and say, "We draw from the highest quality wood, but we do have to work to meet the standards of a high number of customers. We're far and away the busiest sawmill in the southern half of the country, if not the whole of Lurich. And as such, well, we wouldn't bring substandard wood here as a sample. That would be a terrible idea. I assure you, Mr. Black, we can meet your quantities, and we can test the abilities of the best shipwrights in your entire port. I promise you there."
Well, that is good to know, and that's 75 a ton. It's exceptional.
An offer too
value.
good to refuse, perhaps.
Well, one might say that.
Until your ship sinks laden with soldiers.
No, Tor. Let's not insult the lady.
Do you plant for trees after you cut them down? You replant them?
He holds her hands up, for instance. I hardly think we could have maintained a business cutting down trees for 800 years without planting a few more on the way.
Well, it didn't look like that when we came in.
Mobius has been here for 800 years.
Can I roll
Well,
an insight on that?
Yeah, you can roll me an insight check on that. All of you can.
Yes, I feel like doing that.
16.
16.
9.
21.
Shit.
21. He could have been. That would make him very old for an elf. What you saw.
I was rolling on lying for replanting the trees, Jed.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry. Right. Yeah, sorry. Gav expressed surprise at Movis having been there for that long. She might be lying. What she's done is she's avoided the question.
Yes,
Okay.
correct answer.
Yeah, Vic, with your 21, yeah, you're very aware that she's not answered the question there, and it might be one of these things that like. They probably plant trees, but like replanting the trees as they cut them down, you're very aware, especially if they are providing wood for people in the quantities that they're talking about.
They don't go bare.
Well, yeah, they might not even be doing that. They're probably running the woods at a deficit.
Yeah.
800 years would make Movis a very old elf, but Farrax did not look young when you saw him, in which case if the two of them are that old.
All right. Well, we shall have to consider this, gentlemen. Mr. Sloan, thank you for your time. I'll stand and give her quick bow, and we'll.
If there's anything more we can do to make your stay in Penvaden more pleasurable, more enjoyable, more enlightening, please swing
Enlightening?
by.
Well, maybe you could. Would it be possible to meet Master Movus himself?
She smiles. I keep office hours through the afternoon at Movus's residence. You can come by and, well, I'll see if he's available to introduce you. Do you know where he lives?
I'm afraid we don't. We only got in late in the evening yesterday.
She leans backwards in her chair and she points through the tent across the river, and you can see where the shipyard is, where the timber yard is that's loading things onto the ship. You remember going past this yesterday, and you can, once it's pointed out, you can clearly see what is the largest house in town. It is made of a dark wood, not hewn from logs, but almost large flat panels making up the walls. They are so well joined and slotted together.
We can hardly miss it.
Swing by, knock, ask for me, Mr. Black. I'm sure that the butler there will be happy to attend to you. We will have tea, perhaps.
That would be most enjoyable.
Or, I believe we've been enjoying a pine needle brew lately.
Oh, how unusual. Well, can't be any worse than what we have in Port Martin. Good day to you.
And to you, sir. And by the time you stand, she's looking over your shoulder because there are people queuing up at this table, and there are other people here in the brokerage who've arrived in the time that you've been speaking to people, but there is a queue waiting to speak to her.
And nobody else, or the queues are smaller
Other people. Yes, exactly that. Yeah. You can see other people coming in. You can see people speaking to Fisger. The James sons are writing stuff down already, but
Cool.
there isn't such a large queue of people waiting there.
I think we'll just head back into town.
Yeah, grand.
We'll pretend to forget about the gnome, just in case we have to come back another day.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. So you've been told she keeps office hours. Luann keeps office hours for the afternoon. It's by this point probably. I mean, things have been setting up and things like that, but it's probably only about 9 o'clock now. So you've got a few hours you could kill. But you can say, I'm going to spend them in the inn and do nothing else, or.
Yeah. Well, as we're strolling back in, I'll ask, so, what do you think?
Dodgy.
It's the McDonald's of the wood industry.
Very dodgy people.
They're making money off the back of the king, selling them. But I can only assume to be lower quality wood if they're using magic to grow it at some unnatural rate.
EM crops.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Dodgy to me.
It can't be trusted. Probably.
Yeah, entirely
What?
GM.
We definitely need to
enhanced
find out
crops.
more about this.
However, it doesn't really give us an in to Movus's house.
You've got a way to get through the front door, but nothing else.
Yes.
Why don't
I think
we
the
go and
man-
scout it.
The man probably wouldn't bother with us unless we were ordering stupid quantities of his product. Which
Sorry. Pardon my short-term memory. What is it we want from Movis?
we want to find out why the people who have been coming to his employ and attending his whatever, we don't know, why they've been turned away from the religion.
From the Lord.
Farix, the elf who runs the temple in town, the temple to
He wants
forestry
his
in the
patrons
wood,
back.
all his patrons have been abandoning him. And not only that, they've been going towards Movis. So he feels, although he didn't say it explicitly, that there's some nefarious, religious, whatever, things that are drawing, or maybe it's just money, that are drawing
Also
people
idols.
away from Feryx. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Well,
So we don't have an exact thing, but he wants it found out.
back to being Titus. Why don't I go and scout the residence?
Yeah, I'm not a bit conspicuous, are you, Titus?
I mean, I'm very small.
I was
Very
thinking of
stealthy.
something very similar.
Well, what's that shiny barrel thing?
Don't you worry about that. You'll learn soon enough.
Well, make sure to keep it out of sight. Maybe the rest of us will just
Sorry.
take a second breakfast.
That's where he keeps his snuff.
Don't you have a familiar? My voice keeps changing all the time. You could scout some of the building with your cat. I'm not very
It
important to.
would help
Indeed.
if I could sit down for, the duration of said 4 day. So I think I'll go back to the inn, and maybe Mortimer here could tag along with you. I can see through his eyes, you see.
Can you control that feline?
I can.
Excellent. Okay. I use hand signals if I require anything from him. Or you.
Well, I can, hear you as well.
Okay.
It's fun
Does
to
it
point at the cat.
understand common though? Not
Well, I
understanding
do
at all how this
when
familiar
I'm
thing
inhabiting it.
Okay.
It can't speak, but it probably can perceive.
I'm just tempted to spend the first 5 minutes talking in Chewinese. Okay. Cool. Is that all right, Jed?
Yeah, to go and scout the house.
Yeah, just inconspicuous, like have a wander around the outer perimeter.
Yeah.
Maybe have a look, see other
You-
routes in there are as a backup.
For this, if you are walking around, you're not trying to conceal yourself per se, so much as not attract attention.
Mm-hmm.
What I will do is I will get you to roll. You can add your stealth proficiency, but your charisma modifier rather than your dex modifier.
Yeah, so just flat 0 then.
Yeah, do those
Okay.
cancel each other out, or yeah, okay, yeah. Add your proficiency, but not your dex modifier.
Just going for a wander.
Mhm.
4.
Okay. That's fine. Okay, yeah. You are walking around town. You're walking around in the
With the
area
cat.
with the cat.
I just read the cat. I can only control it and communicate it with when I'm within 100 feet of it.
Okay. So,
So-
oh man.
Sit
He's
across
either
the
on his
road, I
own,
guess.
or I find somewhere near the river to sit, or something like that.
Well, you can
within
do that
100
if you'd like.
feet
It's not going to
of
be
the-
too difficult, but yeah.
Hey, you'd be like a street.
Well, that's
boy.
what I'll do in that case. I'll sit down by the river, watch the docks load up.
Yeah.
The boats.
And it's a sunny day. It's not an unreasonable thing to do to sit on a patch of grass and enjoy the sounds of the river.
I'll have my book out
Yeah.
as if I'm studying.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of wander around the outside and just clock any, you tell me.
Yeah.
Any ways in. Try and get an idea of where it's a master bedroom, maybe.
Yeah, no problem. So this is a 2-story building. In fact, actually, it's a 3-story because there is a tower, so to speak, within the building. But it's just large in terms of square footage, in terms of the length and the face of the building. A lot, the amount of street space that it takes up. There is one large door, front door, on the street side, which has steps leading up to it. Now it's daytime, so you can't see what's lit, and you can't see too well through the windows without going up and actually. You're going to go up and have a peer through the windows?
No, not particularly. I was
No.
thinking more like trying to spot a feature window or a balcony or something, and assuming that would probably be a master bedroom.
There isn't anything like that on the street side, but as you go around and as you head more towards the lumberyard, you can see, kind of what will be a courtyard out the back. There is a balcony. There is also, as I've said to you, this tower, and that
big
is
is it?
basically sized for one more room.
Okay.
It's the sort of thing, and where your head goes is to an observatory. Because it has windows on all four sides, and the windows are large, especially they are larger towards the top. They're kind of not triangular, but I don't know. They're fairly ornate, and actually, given that most of the windows are, regular shapes with a round top, the ones higher up are large and would give a good view of the sky. But again,
is there
you
any
can't.
buildings around it that are as tall as that tower?
No, not nearly. It's the tallest other buildings other than the Harvest Temple. The tallest other buildings are 2 stories, so this is a good story above that. But the other buildings around it are shorter. Again, they are small warehouses. They are storage sheds. This is the only thing that is probably a house here, this close to the river.
So if one was to climb up a storage shed, I wouldn't be able to see into the second floor.
Not easily. Yeah, or at least you could see. Yeah, you could see into the first floor from the roof storage shed, but not into the second floor, not into that tower.
Is the place walled off
Sorry, yeah.
or fenced off or anything?
The courtyard at the back is well fenced. It would be difficult to climb, not unclimbable, but difficult to climb.
What is it like? Okay.
And there's, from what you can see, a kind of ornamental garden there, or something of garden there.
I have a plan in a second. I am going to.
You can't see any guard stations, Sam, having walked around
them,
there, or any of the rest of you looking at the place. You can't see any
It's just me.
guards stationed. But you do see, even just from the street level, you see a little bit of movement inside the ground floor.
Cool.
I am going to go take a piss. I'll be right back, and we'll see if you all want to do anything with this information that you've gleaned. Yeah.
Plan in a minute, so once you're going back off. Alright.
Okay, right, be right back.
Oh, I was thinking more like if they're
I'm
going for the
thinking
meeting, then I'll climb upon said roof and sit and watch.
I was thinking
with the
getting
rifle.
pretty close to the building, using wild shape to turn myself into a weasel, which is tiny, sneaking my ass inside the building, and spending like 30 minutes snooping around his house as a weasel, seeing if I can hear any useful information or learn anything like that, and then sneaking back out. But I don't know. Potential. I have like +8 stealth in weasel form.
And drink.
Oh no.
Drink some peas.
Okay. My edits. Jethro has no particular contribution to this sneaky, dastardly tactics. Actually, I'm quite good at sneaking. Reasonably.
Okay. Just as a check-in, Gex, are you doing all right? You've been muted for a bit.
Yes, I didn't
Okay.
realize I was muted in Discord, but I am doing all right. I've not been saying much because I have nothing really to add to this. I'm not really
That's
good
okay.
at industrial espionage.
That's okay. And you haven't passed out like we suggested that you
No,
would.
I've got a little headache though, but I'm fine.
That's allowed. That's permitted. Okay.
Yeah, I accidentally probably been muted for the last half an hour, but I didn't say much, so it's fine.
All right. Grand.
Yeah, you haven't said anything since you joined.
Yeah.
You said
Excellent.
that you laughed at Gav talking about the quality of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to get some water, and I think I muted my mic at that point.
That's
Both
fine, that's
ways, so I pressed the button and I pressed the key command.
How is everybody else feeling about getting into Movis's house if they'd like to do that?
I was thinking about using wild shape, turning into a weasel, and seeing if I can sneak in.
Dude, we didn't go meet Luan, did we?
No.
You have not been, yeah.
Hey, why don't we just try the talkative route? Just talk to her, just be like, "Yo, so is that a meeting, bitch?"
Yeah, but how do we turn that to
Get to the gap.
what's going on here?
Just hold a knife to her throat and say, "Where's your boss?"
Take her up to the roof.
Yeah, Gex style.
No, Gex would ask if she has a child.
Yeah.
Take the child to the roof and throw him off.
He pulled a knife. Nearly. He was about
Hello,
to.
darling.
Almost.
Got any kids around?
Bottle, don't bother.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that you take the meat and you try and talk your way into it, and I stay out on the storage shed roof watching the courtyard and the windows, and snipe stuff if it goes bad.
I just don't understand what I'm even supposed to start to be saying. If we don't actually know what he's doing. Unless we drop Farix in it and say, and then all obviously he'll have to do is say Farix is a crazy old man or whatever, you know.
Then we send the weasel in to find some documents.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Why don't we just send the weasel in? My cat can be hanging around in the courtyard, and he can cast spells on my behalf. But like honestly, if the weasel can sneak in and get a look around and see what's the lay of the land, that might be better. And then we can go and visit her the day after.
Here's a question, Jed.
Yes.
Is there anywhere inconspicuous for us to hold up and watch said location and do these sneaky things, so that Gav's in range, etc.?
See if you could
What one of the storage shed room, if it's conspicuous enough. Sorry, Mark, knock up.
Like a storage shed roof is going to be very exposed. If you could get into the shipyard, then you could get yourself to the fence of the courtyard pretty easily, because it's just that's on the shipyard side of it. And if you could find a way of kind of remaining there, that would be a way of doing that. Beyond that, it's not going to be really easy, and it's certainly not going to be easy to conceal yourself.
Right, well then, weasel it is on its own.
Yeah.
How long can you stay in that form for a tour?
Hours, isn't it?
An hour?
Yeah, but I'm specifically asking a main character.
So
about an hour. About his abilities.
Well, about an hour. I'm going Swedish now. Yeah.
Well, that should be more than long enough.
This is plenty long time. My accent's all over the place.
Yeah.
Would there be a way into the building? A chimney, maybe?
There certainly are chimneys. You've not had that closer look at the, what will be inside the courtyard, so that'll be harder to tell. You'll have to get in there to have a look.
Once, if I was in weasel form and I'm close to the building, would I be able to use my perception to see if there is any rats around or locations rats have chewed through the walls to be able to find a way into the building. Because that's pretty accurate for what a weasel would do.
Yes, yeah, and you can find places like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's seeming like a plan because
Yeah.
every house is gonna have fucking rats back in these sort of times.
In present day.
Okay.
Especially near the river.
So I am.
Well-
I'll join Obadiah at the river.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
we sorry, just before you do it, we want to be nearby. So, like I said, Kat will be with me. I'll be sitting near this loading thing, and we'll be taking a look and talking. You know.
And Jed, for
Yeah.
the purpose of staying conspicuous,
Yep.
I will lay out the assorted items I stole from the dead woman's bar
Okay.
in as if we're having a picnic.
Yeah. Fine. Okay.
Yes.
So a black. Oh God, is that my fucking accent, right? Pop dipping. In the valleys. So black. Can you talk to people through their minds as well, or is it just to read them?
I can indeed.
That might be handy because I can't talk when I'm in weird little creature forms. So the only way you'll be able to communicate is through telepathically.
Yes, but I believe I need to be able to see them.
Ah, well, that's not quite so good then. All right. So when we're all in position, then I will cast me.
Yep.
Wild shape.
What does that look like when you transform, Vic?
Okay. Well, it goes all misty like a incorporeal sort of being for a moment, and just slowly, just its shape vibrates and shrinks and grows and shrinks and just eventually just shrinks down into this tiny little foot-long weasel.
Right.
That is blue, but
Blue, okay.
he's a little blue weasel still because he's his
Yeah.
color's not going to change necessarily.
No. Okay.
He's blue bottomed, but a black stripe. His back is all black from his shell because his
Great.
shell's black.
Great.
With a black face and two little blue circles around the eyes.
Oof.
That's one fucked up weasel. I'll say to Obadiah.
Okay. And you're making your way, in through the saw yard, kind of sneakily?
Yes, I'm going to be using me stealth.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Bear with me. Have you got a stat block for a weasel?
Yeah, I've already had a look through. So, do you want me to link you it or?
A regular weasel I've got here. That's fine. Okay. What I'll do is I'll get you to you can use the weasel stealth because it's you using its dex.
Yep.
Your proficiency bonus is just a +2 anyway, isn't it, normally? So
Yeah.
that's fine. Give me a stealth check. Yeah, just give me a regular stealth check, I think.
Yeah,
Is
fuck.
that the
19 plus
5 plus the dexterity bonus of 3?
No, that's the total is the +5.
Okay.
Which works out as +3 and then a +2 for proficiency. So effectively, the weasel is proficient in stealth.
Cool.
Um,
That is 24.
Yeah, 24 is brilliant. Yeah, great. So you're able to get into the sawmill and find an opening in the fence and make your way through into the garden. The garden itself is well maintained and, as I have said, ornamental. It is set up so that some rather very healthy, very exotic looking flowers are all blooming this time of year, and you have a proper bouquet, a kind of palette of floral colors around the inside of the courtyard. The courtyard is square, and in between the hedges there is a stone fountain burbling and spraying it up. There is a statuette in the fountain, but from your vantage point, because you are very small, you are unable to make out what it is. You could make your way through the garden and onto a veranda, which would lead you into perhaps the ground floor. If you'd like to do that, or at the let's paint ourselves up here. So if we've got at the western end of the garden, there is a veranda. Give me a perception, and again, you can have the advantage here because this is hearing or smell. So roll twice and use the highest. And you've got your stat block for your weasel, so that's fine.
20.
Okay, that's going to be hard to beat. Yeah, fine.
23. It says 23.
Yeah. There is a smell here, like people, humans, and people. I will say, do use the area, but you're not aware of anyone being out here at the moment. The house is busy and occupied. There are sounds and smells of people working and cooking and doing things in there. It is getting on now after Sam's walk around for late morning. It will be lunchtime soon.
Perfect time for a pick.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
As I eat a pickled egg and light my pipe.
I would rather, instead of going in, I'd have want to look around outside to see if I find a way sneakily into the house through the wall, maybe.
Okay.
Don't want to be running across the floor as a pretty much bright blue fucking ferret.
With a perception check like that, you can find also a crack in the veranda that you think you could find your way into, so you could find your way in underneath that, and then a rat hole to allow yourself to enter the house without going through a door, and kind of be inside the walls for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fine. And you'd like to make your way that way?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
because that's safer.
The other three of you, are you all sat together on the riverbank? Jethro, you're there.
I should think so.
You are approached by a group of 4 burly fellas, some men and some dwarfs. They are wearing similar kind of dark uniforms to the people that were working for Luan at the brokerage.
I'll stand up and kind of dust myself down.
Miss Luan requests that you come and join us now for the meeting.
We're not entirely sure we wish to participate in business with Miss Luan.
Oh, really? And he looks
Well,
over to you, Sam, and says, well, you came by the house earlier, didn't you?
Yes, I did indeed. I wanted to. I'm going to try and deceive him.
Yeah.
I wanted to check out this rather fine wood paneling that was mentioned. That was what was mentioned, wasn't it?
Make me the deception check. Yeah, whether it was mentioned or not. I mean, it's clear to see.
4.
Yeah, it's
I'm not very good today.
and the layout of it, and trying to identify our master's private quarters, perhaps looking in the windows.
Well, it is a mighty fine house.
Sure
I
is.
did want to take a peek and see what affluent interior it may have had.
Well, perhaps we can arrange a viewing for you on the interior, if you'll all step this way, gentlemen.
How many are there?
There are 4 of them. They have axes, all 4 of them, as a person might if they work at a timber yard.
I don't know, seems a bit sus.
Gentlemen.
Can't you see we're trying to enjoy a rather lovely picnic?
Give me a second. I'm going to give this guy. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I want to see how smart he is, and he's just going to be firm. So no, I really must insist you join us for lunch in the house instead.
And what if we don't?
I like a free lunch.
Yes, Titus. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. Let's have lunch with the man.
Cheers, fellas. I brought an appetite, must warn you.
Lead the way.
It's very rude. And I'll pack my things up.
They will. Two will walk in front of you, and two will walk behind you, and they'll walk you, towards the house. Vic, from where you are in the house, the smells, the sounds that you identified from outside kind of intensify. People are moving around. There are service staff inside the house.
Yeah.
And as I've said to you, it definitely smells like food is cooking. You notice you can hear the front door crack open and just a person by themselves walk in. What's your plan? What are you looking for from inside the walls of the house, or from from in there?
Gonna just look around to see if I could hear anything being spoken at first, see if I could recognize any wrongdoings or any plans, whatever the hell they've been doing.
People are kind of babbling and chattering. So a lot of it is hush. Inside the house in general, there's kind of day-to-day chatter and whispers. When you get into the kitchen, people are talking about their work. They're talking about what a nice day it is, and they can't believe they're stuck in here dealing with this shit. And I understand, right? Okay, yeah, you've got to go to work, but the fucking guy. I mean, it's just him on his own. Why are we making this much food again? It's not like he's having one of his fucking parties again. I don't know. When was the last? I mean, he's having them all the damn time now. Fucking parties all the fucking time. Anyway, the people, the kitchen staff are griping.
Can I try to follow anyone that leaves with any sort of trays to wherever they're going?
Yeah. The sound of the person coming in the front door, if you're able to work out where they've gone, and they've gone to a side office. Making your way through and behind the panel. I'll maintain that stealth check that you rolled before, because that was pretty good. And you're able to creep and stumble and tumble your way through there until you hear Luan, whom you heard before, saying, "We'll bring them by. They want something. They're desperate to meet you, which means they might know something's up. And they told us they met with Farrax already." You don't hear who responds.
Okay. Can I try to make my way into that room but stay hidden?
You can give me another stealth check for this part. This is a little more difficult.
Or of inspiration.
Can I use my inspiration?
You can use your inspiration to re-roll it if you'd like. Yeah.
Silently average.
Okay. So you're approaching the kind of side office you can hear Luan speaking from, and you realize that you really do want to get inside. You could probably squeeze under the door, and so you step out of your hiding place and go over towards the door. And at that moment, one of the scullery staff is carrying a basket of bread rolls and steps out and sees you and shrieks, dropping their food all over the floor. Within a second, the door is going to open. I will give you a moment to react.
I want to scarp her back the way I came for the minute.
Scarp her back the way you came. Yeah, that's great. That's grand. You're going to find it. The door opens and Luan bursts out into the hallway, into the kind of it's like a fuck do you call it? Just antechamber is not the right fucking word. I don't know. The entrance hall of the large house. And she is out. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, and she can spot you out on the bare wood floor, and she locks eyes on you. and begins to chase. You're able to break. Are you going to break back into the wall?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
possible.
Okay. You're able to get back into that, and she is first going to go and comfort the maid just quickly, briefly, which will give you a moment to escape. Is that your goal, to escape properly?
No, not fully. I'm going to just stay very fecking still for a bit.
Okay. All right. I'll give you one more attempt at a stealth roll.
9.
A 9 total. Yeah, fine. Okay.
I better run or turn back into a normal person.
She is heading towards your hidey hole, and the panel that you are behind is not going to be easy for you to break out and through. You could probably get out in the direction that you came, maybe, but it's going to be difficult for you to do that quietly, even the way that things are, and with things scattered. She's looking towards you, definitely. And at that moment, you hear a knock on the door, and someone else is quick to attend the door and opens it, and you see, with a couple of the sawmill staff, your traveling companions, your friends, are able to make out their smell as you have become familiar with them.
Smell my herbal tea from a mile away.
And what do we see when the door opens?
The door opens, and the door opens from this grand but kind of subtly paneled outside to a quite an extravagant but nearly entirely wooden again interior of the large house. Gav, you are used to large grand houses, and so there's nothing too impressive here. It is broader than it is deep, this room, but it does have the trimmings that you would expect in such a place: a large rich carpet, artworks on the walls, mounted animals, and the like. It does have the elegance that you might have associated with elven nobility, but
Okay.
yeah, the particular fine craft work done with these things. In the room is what you can surmise is a butler, human, with tails and fine dress, a maid picking up bread and putting them back into a silver bowl, and Lady Luann, whom you met earlier by the brokerage, staring fiercely at a corner of the room before she looks back to you and resumes her trademark saccharine smile.
Ah, Mr. Sluan. Well, you should really hire better help.
Mr. Black, a pleasure to have you here. I knew we wouldn't keep you away.
Most observant of you.
And have you come to join us for lunch? That's very nice. Please make your way to the dining room. We'd be happy to have you there. Or would you like to wash up first?
No. We're as clean as can be.
Very well, very well. We shall have some drinks brought through for you. Please go and take a sit, and she'll show you, and the butler will show you to the dining room. The heavies that have escorted you there don't go in through the door. They kind of stand at it, but they look in and look at you. As I assume the three of you go in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Vic, you are kind of trapped. You're kind of pinched there in the corner. It's going to be difficult for you to work your way out of there. You could probably get out the way you came, but she's going to spot you at least once more. You're going to have to leave the kind of paneling that you're in and go out into the thing, and then on.
Sorry. Okay. I have a strange plan.
Is it
Oh,
cunning,
no.
Baldric?
Yeah, it could have been.
The three of you, other than Vic, are being led through this entrance hall, and are led through a chamber with nice quality ceramics. You can surmise into a room with a large table. The smell of food comes to your nose here. You can smell fresh baked bread, but you can also smell cooked meats and vegetables there.
If we don't spot the weasel, we just keep walking into the dining room.
The weasel is hidden for the time being, but Luann's attention, as soon as you're past her, basically goes back to this spot in the wall. It isn't really what's going on there. Vic, I'll give you the choice to act before or after the group have left the hallway.
Can you move when you're concentrating?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay. Can I cast a spell when I am...
No.
No, you cannot.
Okay.
Not while you're wild shape.
We
Until you're like a level 18 druid, no.
Yeah.
So you have to speak words.
Okay.
What if he wild
Fine.
shapes into like a parrot that can speak? But yeah, I guess it doesn't have hands, so it can't make the hand gestures.
Yeah.
Dancing around on the
What's
spot.
wrong with animals? There's either animals with hands or animals that can speak. There's nothing in between.
No, but even then, I
Wild,
think
wild
that
shape
this
into a
is-
gorilla
yeah.
that can do sign language.
I try to make
Anyway.
a sprint past her into the fucking dining room that they are and hide underneath something in there.
You absolutely can. Now, whichever way you go, you are going to have to leave the hiding spot that you're in. You are
Yeah, that's
effectively
fine.
cornered. What I'm going to say is that she's going to get an opportunity to react.
Yeah, fine.
But as to what you do, you're going to try and make your way into the dining room.
Yeah, I'm going to try and follow their scent.
Okay, yeah, no problem. That's all right. You can follow the scent. I'm not going to make you roll for that. However, when you, you are going to move, leave cover. I'll get you to make a perception check, please. Visionary, yeah,
Yes,
vision based. So
eyeball.
you're not, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
boom. Natural 20.
Nice.
And then
Yeah,
I use my survival thing? So that'll be 24.
Use your own, use
Doesn't
your own
matter.
perception skill.
That'll be
But
24.
that's great. So
Okay.
you can spot another spot to get into nice and easily. However, Luann is going to loose a dart your way. So as a weasel, you've got an AC of 13.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And 1 HP.
Yeah. So if she hits you, you're going to get zapped. I'm going to tell you that she's got a +4 to hit. So I'm going to roll the die. And yeah.
We just have the
Rumbles.
unluckiest session.
Yeah. And the dart collides with your shoulder, and you will take. So you've got 1 HP. We'll take all.
Yep. And I just turn straight back into a turtle.
Absolutely, absolutely. You'll take 4 points of damage. I took. That's less the extra one that she gets there. Yeah. So you take 4 hit points off of Torok, and you are burst in this cloud of mist and noise and clattering from your weasel form back out into turtle form.
Get
And
your
Hey,
stuff.
there you are.
Again, a gasp from the maid who was carrying the bread. Luann, on the other hand, it does not gasp or express surprise.
Is he in the same room as us now?
He is a little bit behind you, but yes, effectively, yeah.
Oh. Guess I'll greet him.
Let's see. I had hoped that your specialist might join us, Mr. Black. Please, all sit, all sit.
Remain standing.
Jed,
Yes.
Fey ancestry, they're immune
Yes.
to being charmed.
They
Is charmed categorized as suggestion as well?
advantage against being charmed. I think suggestion is a charm spell. Yeah.
Doesn't
In fact, no.
say.
Specifically, it isn't charmed the effect.
Creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this.
Okay, right. In which case,
So she might be.
yeah. Okay, so elves are not immune to being charmed, but they have advantage against it. So I will give her advantage on the save if you're going to cast that. However, before
No, such a low DC, I don't think I will.
Okay. Sam, she is going to look to you if you're refusing to sit.
Mm-hmm.
And can I get you to make, and I'm specifically checking this, a wisdom save?
Mm-hmm. Let's get it along laggily then. 18. 18.
Luan growls the word sit to you, as one might to a dog. And for a second there, that seems like a good, important thing to do, and you realize that you are indeed being hit with a command spell. But you are able to resist it.
I will just stay standing there. With no reaction.
While this is happening, I'll just telepathically send to the rest of the guys, eat or drink nothing.
Mm-hmm. They haven't taken our weapons, have they? Not
They
that
haven't
they
taken
know
your
what
weapons.
their weapon is.
Yeah.
I'll rest my staff against the wall and sit down. Don't need it.
As will I, yeah.
I will unsling my musket and lean on it as if it were a walking stick.
Please, gentlemen, join us. We have such a delightful menu prepared. To quote the sage, we have such delights to show you, and I'm sure we can settle an amicable deal you will be pleased to go home and tell your lord at home about.
Okay.
It's a bright day and the sunlight is streaming through the windows. It lights the dining room up quite well. And you can make out paintings, you can make out memorabilia, perhaps gifts from other people there on the walls. People start bringing food through a door at the far end of the room. And there is bread again. There is fresh fruit. There are boiled vegetables and well-cooked, well-seasoned meats, salads and the like. And things are laid out on the table before you. Luan herself sits and from a pot pours a cup of steaming liquid. It has a slightly sour smell, almost mentally. And she blows on it and she takes a sip.
Is there a way to try and discern what that is?
You will recall her mentioning a pine needle tea earlier on.
Okay. And that's what it smells like. Cool.
Yeah, that's it. At least that's what it reasonably might be, yeah. Huh, okay.
We're all sitting quietly.
Yeah, well, are you going to sit or are you still stood?
No, I'm not sitting down.
No, you're not sitting down.
For once, I'm the same height as everybody.
Yeah, right. But she is allowing food to be spooned onto her plate. Saying, well, this is a funny situation. Is my master's hospitality not enough for you? Will you force me to eat alone?
Yeah,
Yes.
We were just picnicking.
just had lunch.
Before we were rudely interrupted.
Rudely interrupted, perhaps. Perhaps we should not allow business to go unconcluded. Perhaps if we are looking to get to know one another better, if you would like to see the inside of my master's house, you simply could have asked. I did in fact invite you, you will recall. Now, I wonder, gentlemen, travellers from Porthmarn, what you might have heard about my Lord Movis. What might have been told to you.
Not enough.
But you
Well,
had
as my man Jethro says, very little.
very little. Enough, though, to pique your interest.
Enough to wonder why the man can undercut his competitors by such a huge amount.
An unhealthy amount.
It's... I don't need to lay out our entire business strategy, our model of things. Sure.
Oh, no, indeed you don't. But if my lord is to invest in your patronage, then he wants to know what knock-on effects that could have.
We are the largest timber yard.
Yes, who is producing subpar timber, magically altered, as far as we can tell, on initial inspection, at a cutthroat rate.
There's a smile, particularly at the magically altered part. Provided, perhaps, would be a better word. Gifted. We are ourselves beneficiaries of a certain patronage. We are ourselves providers to the royal court of Lurich.
Oh,
And
for
you
now, I
provide
would
them-
think.
You provide them with subpar wood for the war asset in the north.
We provide them with wood that saves lives. We are
Provide them
One
that
might call
wood.
it treasonous.
It's your profit.
Yes, they know no better. Had the
Mhm.
ships attacking the north ran with the what were those dwarves called?
The Bunces, yeah.
The Bunces would.
Then the crown would have run. The crown's coffers would have run dry. Months,
And
even
the
years.
crown's enemies would be vanquished. Problem solved. That's
There
a
is
short-term thinking, and an especially short-term thinking for one of your nature.
There is a kind of toss of the head and a bit of a chuckle. From Luann, and Mr. Black, won't you please join me for some food? I think you'll find it whets such a strong appetite. Indeed, it is merely a taste of the refinement that we have found here in Penvaden, and that people across Lurich are learning to enjoy in these dark times.
Well, as I had stated before, we have already lunched. And quite frankly, my appetite is all but gone. Those 4 burly men, quite frankly, scared me to no end.
Well,
I've entirely lost my appetite.
If you've no interest in discussing timber any further, you are welcome to leave then. Although you may find that my office hours are not as welcoming to you later on. If that is all, then I would be happy to show you out. Please. And she'll look to you, Victor Tor, say, if you do wish to visit again, perhaps at the brokerage would be the best place to speak.
You might want to get your walls checked. They're full of rats. I try to help.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Oh my fucking word. My accent today. I'm just gonna look at her and just give her what sort of grin I can, considering I have like a beak.
Yeah.
I have much of a facial expression.
I'll hold you no longer. You are free to leave then. And she'll go eating. She'll take some bread and put butter on it, just there in front of you. Take some chicken onto her plate.
Jed,
Yes.
so if we're going to be leaving, describe the layout as we go out the dining room back towards the front door.
So what you've seen, I will draw things on the table because it's the easiest way of doing it.
Is there a staircase between us and the front door?
Yeah, so this is... I'll use a different colour pen. This is the road. You've come in here. Yes, so this is our entrance hall area. There is a staircase here.
Okay, so yeah.
And more hallway going that way.
So this is like a door to the stairs.
This is the door to the entrance hall. So this is road down here. That's staircase going up. Now the way that you've been taken is this way to a chamber with pottery. And then the dining hall.
Okay.
The courtyard, this hallway leads to courtyard. So that's like that. I said it was square and I stand by it. This is dining hall, why not? That's the door to the kitchen. Let's assume, Vic, the small office you were listening to is down at this end. I've drawn an O for office, but you didn't get to see inside. It was by the stairs where you were cornered.
Does anyone else want to do anything before we leave?
No.
No. As we leave, Jed.
Yeah.
Can I make a point of being in front of everybody and use my halfling nimbleness to stealth and head for the office? Not my halfling nimbleness, the other thing.
Squat nimbleness.
What?
No.
No.
Your it's the halfling trait.
Yeah, that lets me hide. Somebody is.
That's going to be quite a high roll if you're going to try and. I mean, there are still servants, there are still kind of staff around in the house. If you're going to try and. You're concealing yourself from Luann?
Basically, if our guys are going out ahead and they're watching us leave, I want to be in front of our guys and just try and.
Everybody's walking from the dining room.
Yeah, as we come to the door.
Yeah.
Depending on where they're positioned.
Let's grab models. And then we've got Luann here with you.
Might need somebody's inspiration.
In fact, Luann is not going to go, but the butler is going to take you. So this is a butler.
Yep. What happened to the 4 dudes?
They are outside still. They've remained out here.
Is the front door currently closed?
The front door is currently closed.
So essentially, I'm trying to hide from the butler and do a combat roll across here, avoiding any servants, guys.
Very tempting to just.
Okay.
We've
You're
got
gonna
to
need.
find some information.
Yeah.
It's like the last ditch attempt.
Yeah. Let me draw that on a bit better. So this is your office, or
Yeah.
what you've seen is a nice quality door.
Yeah.
But you could see from windows on the outside, for example, what you could see in there was furniture that might make it look like an office.
So tempting. Are you boys ready for some maybe mayhem if this goes wrong? Because I'm very tempted to cast Code Person on the butler.
No, there's no point.
But you don't know he's about to do this. So if
Yeah,
it goes
but
tits
none
up,
of you know about this.
if it goes tits up, cast whole person. But if it doesn't, let it slide.
I'm basically expecting you guys to be walking like, 2 by 2 or whatever, and then I'm just going to squeeze my way in the front and do some fucking combat roll over there.
Jim Carter. Some halfling Jim Carter.
Okay, cool. I will get you to roll me a stealth roll, Sam. As I say, it's going to be quite a high DC. I know that you're only trying to hide from the butler. The butler's the only person that's really present, but this is daylight in a wooden hallway, so it's making 18 or higher. For a total of
17.
Okay, all right.
Somebody give me inspiration.
so you can use someone else's inspiration.
Nobody?
I've got none left.
That's
Yeah.
why I was the only one with
Fine.
inspiration.
You can have it.
Yeah.
Roll a
Alright.
1. Go on.
Better.
Okay. Yeah, great. Yeah, you feel pretty successful. You're able to make the move. You're just walking that little bit faster than the rest of the group in a quiet, padded way. Your shoes are well padded, and you're able to anticipate which of the things are going to squeak. So to the point that, while everybody else is at the door, people that you're with are already able to read things in a way where the 3 of them stand in a way that would block the butler's view of you, and you're able to close on the office without making a sound. And the butler is basically stood, for the other 3 of you, blocking now your passage back towards the dressing room.
I'll say. I think I left my staff in there.
We will arrange to have it. The butler kind of rolls his eyes. Oh, goodness me.
I need that. I got.
All he's got.
Gout.
Just a fucking lonely monk, mate.
Please wait here.
All right.
And he'll turn around and he'll walk back towards the thing.
So, yeah, that was a 25 for your records.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, brilliant. Excellently played.
Move over here. Just
yeah.
wait by this wall.
And you get to the office?
Yep. Try the door.
Okay. The door is unlocked.
I'm going to send him a quick message before he goes in, telepathically, saying, let's not go mental.
Documents only.
That's just
I don't know if I can talk back. Yeah.
If it's the spell,
no,
magic, you can talk back. If it's the telepathy perk, you can't.
It's
So,
telepathy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got message as a cantrip though as well, Gav, haven't you?
I don't need to talk back. It's fine.
No, I don't.
I know what
it's
I'm
not
doing.
on at the moment.
Okay, that's fine.
My intentions are to be robbing a ledger.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, you don't know the guys in the room.
Spellbooks, anything.
Sam, the door cracks and it opens into a study full of paperwork, full of dossiers, binders, scrolls, boxes of things, tomes. Upon a desk, some things are spread, some things are open. There is a bottle of ink and a quill in the hand of a very old-looking elf. His skin is loose but still clear. His eyes have that kind of redness of a person that has not slept in a few days.
What was his name?
And he looks up at you and says,
Mopus.
"You must be the guest who has been looking through my windows this morning.
So on the 26th, he did see me.
You rolled a 4 earlier on your stealth check, if you recall.
No, I mean for this particular one.
To get in the particular.
Well, cracking the door.
You're cracking the door to look in which case, right, he hasn't looked up at you, and you're able to. Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood that. If
I
you
wasn't
were opening,
just barging in the door, I'm still being stuffy.
you are cracking the door, in which case you can hear somebody writing inside, and you can't see him. And please disregard all the visual information I've just given you. You can hear somebody writing inside, and he speaks up and says, "Yes, I'll be there to eat in a moment. Please leave me."
Okay, is there somewhere I can hide out in the corridor? Under the stairs, cupboard, maybe?
You could almost certainly hide under the stairs, and I won't make you re-roll because you rolled a very good stealth check.
Yeah, in which case I want to hide under the stairs until he leaves. Presumably the rest of the guys might be caught up by the butler by then. Which is fine.
And yeah, momentarily the butler comes back holding Gex's stick, Jethro's stick.
Thank you, my good man.
I'm going to give the butler a roll to see if he notices that Sam is missing or not. Not to see if he knows where Sam is, because I don't think there's a way you can beat the 26.
Yeah.
But this is an insight check effectively, and he does not.
I'm already outside.
Mm.
And so the butler cracks the door. The 4 men are, outside, looking bored and kind of,
Surly.
like they're standing in the sun in the street. But as soon as the door opens, they stand and they are looking in through a door again.
Walk out.
Yeah.
Huh, that was quick.
It was shit.
Yeah. Well,
Listen, you're lucky not to be simply driven out of town. She must
Why?
like you.
Why would we be driven out of town? We had done nothing wrong.
None of my fucking business, and perhaps it is none of yours also. So, don't worry about it.
Well, we got all we needed.
Okay, whatever. We've got work to get back to. Lads, I think it's lunch break. And they're gonna sidle down the.
What a work ethic.
I'm just going to say I love Chad's guard voice.
It's just wouldn't even call these guys guards necessarily, but yeah.
Thing that makes me laugh is they notice there's 3 people that went in, 3 people come out. Just the 2 of them
Yeah, one
look
of them's changed
completely
race.
different.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Again, I gave them an insight check to work out whether they knew that Torok was missing before, and they rolled really badly. So they're just not that bright on that. They've been told to get that many people, and that's exactly the logic.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess walk around. I'll walk around. We walk around the corner and look. Or
Yeah, I think we walked down towards the length of the office, kind of this way. And I think there was a window drawn at one point that might have been erased, but... Or maybe there wasn't. I thought I remember seeing an oval drawing. So we walked down towards...
There is a window, because I...
where
peered into
Titus had rolled, or peeked earlier, and see if we could see anything down at this end of the building yet.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I will relay to the lads as well that, there's something dodgy going on.
How do you
There
mean?
is, well, I don't know, the master of the house is very strange. The people keep saying that he was having parties with no guests.
Yes, there was mention of the patron during our cut short lunch that is Troubling.
Yeah.
But surely if the patron isn't the king, then who could this patron be? And she was very insistent about the food.
Mm.
I'm quite
Yeah.
concerned. She may be having parties and inviting the villagers up for... who knows?
She's,
I suppose it's all on
she's giving
Titus
them
now.
dodgy grub.
Sam,
Thank you for your
after
inspiration, Gex.
a
Huh?
moment, you do hear the door.
Thanks
I
for your
mean-
inspiration.
That's right.
Gonna take that. Thank you for reminding me to take it away.
I just
Is that all of the? Is that all of them used this session?
Yes.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm taking a leak back in a sec.
Fine, sure. Sam, after a moment, you do hear the door to the study crack, and a lock turn on a key, and somebody walk through the hallway.
Wait, like 20 seconds. Pick my head out, make sure there's no servants. I can't hear anything. Do you want me to do perception?
You can roll me that, yeah.
To make sure it's nice and clear. 24.
24 is pretty good. It sounds pretty clear. Or at least I'll say you can wait until the moment when you know it sounds pretty clear to you.
Yeah, and wait until a moment where it sounds as if people are on the other side of the building.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone away. Okay, and then sleight of hand, thieves' tools. Let's do this.
Yeah, you can
What's
make a
that?
thieves tools check.
That's
Again,
sleight
we
of
can
hand,
use
isn't it?
we can use your dex. Yeah, make it a sleight of hand check. Why not? Yeah.
I thought that's what
Are
thieves
are
were.
you proficient in thieves' tools?
Yep.
Yeah, great. Yeah, then there's no difference.
24. Just going to say I've rolled a 19, 19, and 20. On the
Yeah,
last two.
great. Yeah, you're able to pretty quickly pop this lock. There's nothing too complex about it.
Can I go in, close the door behind me?
Yeah.
Check for a window.
There is a window.
Is it openable from the inside?
Yeah, you could probably fit through it. Probably, you're not sure from the look of it.
Can I check?
You can pop it open. It looks to your guesswork that you'd be able to fit through it, and you'd have to test it to try, like a cat with whiskers.
Fine. Do that.
So yeah, if you're gonna go through, you can give me maybe an acrobatics check.
I don't want to go through. I just want to kind of poke my shoulders in and make sure I could
Okay.
get through it.
So what we'll do is we'll say that you're trying that now, and we'll make the acrobatics check a bit easier later when you do it.
Okay, cool. And then behind me, I want to lock the door.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm inside. I crack the door. I'll whisper to the boys, "I'm in." Whether or not they hear me.
Yeah.
Hacker
voice, I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, right, so books, tomes, blah, blah, blah. Religious texts.
Religious texts. Okay, in which case you can make an investigation check.
This is flat.
Okay.
10.
Flat 10. Everything in here seems to be financial and business-like that you're able to spot. Yeah.
Jed, sorry, I missed a bit of this, but did he open a window to check if he could get out?
Yes.
Yeah. Can I ask Mortimer to jump in?
I whispered as well.
Yeah, Mortimer can easily get through this crack in the window.
Okay, so I'm going to get him to jump up onto the table in the center and start looking around. And I'd like to basically ascertain the types of books and stuff here as well.
Again, I'll get you to make an investigation check.
I am equally proficient in history / religion / arcana as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Well, investigation for the moment to see what you come across, and then
15.
15's not too bad. Okay, give me one of those rolls. Pick, so history or religion or arcana, and tell me which one you are rolling, and roll it for me, please.
I will roll arcana.
Yeah.
Oof.
Shit. 7.
Okay. That's fine. The 15 was just as important. Because Titus is in there, and Titus is picking stuff up and going, "This is just business. This is just numbers. Doesn't this guy care about anything? I thought elves were supposed to be cultured," and muttering himself in Shunese amongst other things. But the cat is in there. Gav, with the cat's eyes, you are able to spot. In particular, there's something of the handwriting that reminds you of magical shorthand. That reminds you that perhaps this person they have trained their hand in a way that would give itself to noting spells, and things like that. That's something you're able to pick up with this investigation check.
Pointed it in cat paw.
I will get Mortimer to listen out by the door then.
Yeah. There's not a lot going on in the hallway, from what you can hear. You've got a few minutes at least around in there.
Sorry, did Gav identify something written with magical kind of writing?
No, but the handwriting is
notation,
reminiscent of the way that that people who make magical notes, people who would write arcane texts would write.
It's like a doctor's handwriting.
Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah,
It's
there
recognisable.
are certain.
The man is a magician.
Yeah, well, there are certain affectations.
It's
and there are certain
graphology.
kind of common. Yeah.
Can I look at what's open on the table, on the desk?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What am I looking upon?
To your eyes, it is figures of wood in, wood out.
Can I turn through the pages? Any names?
Yeah, you're able to make out names of several business clients, perhaps. You can make a history check if you want.
This is not my forte.
No.
None of these are. 18.
18. Yeah, you can ascertain a lot of them sound like, names of families in Lorich that you have been able to kind of. Some of them you've actually heard of in your studies, your dossier. Some of them also are denotations by number, and those might be military battalion. You're aware that, for example, that he's provided a certain amount of wood to the 8th. So client names are given in that way as well. And so it could well be, yes, that they've got military contacts that they were talking about before and are providing things that way.
Can I quickly scribble it down on a blank piece of paper? The military contracts, regiments, and then some of the names just quickly, like spent days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just some of them. Do you want me to tell you anything that you've got, or we'll do it another time?
We can do it in a minute.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
My reasoning being, I want to find out if they're dead.
Yeah.
Or point of blackmail for being a traitor. And then, so my investigation didn't pull anything out. What about if I were to look upon the bookshelf for, the rest of my perceived time I possibly have to try and spot books that possibly have been recently used or repeatedly? I don't know if this is investigation, survival, or what kind of cracks in dust kind of thing.
You can make it a perception check because I think that'll suit you better. But also, make it a perception check because you're noticing you're looking for
staring at it to find.
Yeah, you're looking for what stands out rather than trying to discern details and things.
17. Sorry, can't add 16.
16. Now what are we going to give you here? Sorry. Because I just closed that note for some reason because I was looking up something different. So in Movis's office there, things pick up, but a lot of it is like old archive, old diary, that sort of thing. There is a particular there is a shift in the quality of paper and of binding within the last 2 years. So things were so you've got, let's say you've got 20 years worth of, no, maybe not 20 years, but you've got the last 5 years worth of ledgers and things there. The last 2 years seem to be even a higher quality page and paper stock that Movis has been buying in. You certainly don't have, if he's been there 800 years, you certainly don't have 800 years worth of documentation.
Okay, well, I want to grab the last one of the shit stock.
Okay.
And bag it.
Yeah, fine.
And the first one of the amazing stock and bag it.
Okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, great. You're just throwing them in your bag, yeah?
Yep. And then the piece of paper I've got, and then I'm going to bail out the window.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
seems probably all I can do.
Make me that acrobatics check at advantage. It's not going to be super difficult, but I want to see if you get fucked anyway.
Yeah, fine.
Snake eyes.
No. Loads. 22.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, you're able to slither out pretty well. You pass the rifle out first and balance yourself well.
And as I go out the window, I lean back in and go, pss, 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 pss.
Mortimer will hold up a paw as if he's sticking up the middle finger.
Yeah.
But he is unfortunately, maybe even a bit of a claw might come out. But he'll leap out afterwards. But instead of leaping down to the ground, he's going to try leap up, climb up the wall, and make for the roof.
Also going to close the window behind me, Jed, as I go.
Once the cat's out, yeah. No problem. Yeah, sure, Gav, you can. Does the cat actually have a climb speed?
I do not know,
Let's
but I'm
have a
assuming
look.
it's got an all right dex
Yeah,
and a good acrobatics.
Isn't climb speed just based on your movement speed? So it's like,
well, so
Unless you have a climb speed, then you
Yeah,
can do
some
your
animals
movement
have-
speed in
oh, right. So it
Yeah.
might.
I do not have a stat card for cat.
I know, I'm
Yeah,
looking it
I
up.
do. Climb is 30 for a cat. Speed is
Sweet.
40.
Oh, that's
Straight up the wall, 30
2
feet.
hit points. +4 stealth. +3 perception.
Thank you, Vic. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so yeah,
Beautiful.
you can go straight up the wall. Mortimer's claws are able to find purchase on the exact right spots in the wooden paneling, and you're able to make your way up to the roof.
So once he's on the roof and has a quick look around and discerns that there's no threats there, I'm going to flick back to my body and go, somebody's going to have to walk me. And then I'm going to flick back to Mortimer and kind of just go still, and my eyes will roll on my head.
I sort of stick one arm around him and just sort of lift him off the ground.
Yeah.
While walking along.
And Mortimer's going to make his way towards the tower and see if he can climb up the tower to look inside.
Okay. Yeah. The tower is, as predicted, kind of observatory-like. The glass, as you get closer to it, you realize is convex, and that is expensive for it to be curved outwards. It's not individual pane. The panes are laid out that way rather than the glass themselves being curved. But the whole windows themselves are laid out in a convex way, so you would get very good broad views of the sky there. You are elevated above other things, and you are able to see in there some charts, some markings, and a telescope. Just what you can see through the window. There are other texts and things in there.
None of the windows are the windows openable, or are any open?
Not easily from the outside.
And there's no other obvious way. Is there?
There is
arcane?
once you get up and you raise yourself a little bit, you can see a hatch in the floor. It's not even a staircase leading up there.
Okay, so we used to take a ladder up. So is there any religious or, I don't know,
Make me an
Arcane
arcana.
kind
It
of-
was an it was
yeah.
an arcana roll that you made before, wasn't it?
It was,
Yes.
but considering the words of patron come to mind, there's a yes, maybe it's not quite nature. There's a question of possibly religion being involved in this. Just due
Go
to
on,
that word.
make me the religion. Make me the religion roll. Yeah.
It's an 18.
It's an 18. Okay, so first thing that comes to mind is that there is some faith for watching the stars. There is, there are sky watchers in Lurich who are, completely in line with the contemporary, what you're now hearing referred to as the new faith. So that in itself does not strike you unusual, and there's nothing here that would be offensive at first glance. But you are able to see bits in a star chart, and there are extra markings put on that aren't normally there with these things. You've seen star charts in this way, and there is a streak in green marked across the center of the star chart, which would not normally be there. It seems like you were able to surmise with that 18, like it would pass overhead. You have come across these star charts in, amongst other things, on that intersection between the clerical and the arcane before. In your studies, in your academia, so you're able to know that, through cat's eyes, that these things are unfamiliar, that this particular marking is not normal.
Try to remember the markings, and I'll have Mortimer vanish. Do his thing. He'll be around.
Scarpa back down to. You
We'll
can
Scarper back into the Fae, or Scarper,
you
through the wheel.
You can blink him out of the world, can't you?
Yeah.
Sure.
And then I'll snap back in.
Yeah.
20 feet down the road, and we'll walk away.
Yeah. Okay. Fellas,
So
it
there's-
is
I'll put him down.
10
10
o'clock.
o'clock.
So that's fine and great. I'm going to. Do we have anything else that we'd like to do immediately and quickly?
No, other than discuss.
Next course of action might be good for you,
Yeah.
so you can plan.
Yeah, that would be useful for me. Yeah.
I did have an idea that we could sit outside the inn, which is across the square from the temple, and if we do see Faris, I could telepathy to him what we found without us having to discuss it with him. But also, just us discussing what we want to do next is nice for the GM to be able to kind of prep for next week.
Yeah, well, we need to read through these books. Jad, do you have time to discuss this quickly?
Broadly speaking, just through clicking through it, you will have you will note principally a change in handwriting that comes quite suddenly towards the end of the cheaper book, and the handwriting begins to pick up some of the inflection that Gav will be able to point out to you if you're discussing it with him.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the more expensive book, it's picking up quite markedly this inflection.
So other than the person changing, contents of which there wasn't like some sort of major financial event in there.
There's been a big step up in business, definitely, and if you spend the time working it out, he starts making a lot more year on year. The quantities of wood that he's shifting. Any one of you can make me a history check.
Does it relate to the war style?
All of you may make history checks, basically, if you'd like.
For fuck's sake, stupid game.
Jethro's not very good at history.
Yeah, well, I fucking rolled a 4, even though I have +5 history.
I still got 16 minus
Yeah,
1.
exactly. See, stupid game.
Minus 1.
Even in, it's not terribly difficult.
18.
Some of that will line up with the war, but it will be some months into it. And so he's done quite well off the war. That doesn't explain this change in handwriting and this change in certain things being noted.
I have to,
but certainly
I have to be that guy. Was this today, or was I don't remember mention of the war?
before
No, the wars in
ending.
the history that I was sent.
There is.
So
start again.
I have mentioned it in setting details, but basically,
But it's way up north.
Yeah, there isn't. The effects of the war, as far south as you are in the country, there is a war to the north of Lurich,
Okay.
and but it is kind of mouldering, and
right, yeah.
you know, there is a war, but it's, you know, the only parts of it that are being felt this far south is the drain that it's then putting on public support, because there's no longer, armed patrols on the road so much. The taxes are higher. There are higher tithes on things, and
Lords
that's
are
about
more
it.
assholish.
Yeah, that's why there are bandits able to operate rife on the road and gangs able to operate rife in the street, because you're in the south and it's a long way from the war. But the what gets called the Northern Dominion, you get a guy who, he gets referred to as the Devil Prince, and people will spit when they say his name in a tavern and things like that. But that's about the extent of it, as far south as you are. But it is going on, and people are being press ganged. People are signing up to go and fight. Young men are being recruited from here, there, and everywhere. And there is a battalion of the army around the next hill, threatening to loom and make encampment on every town that you've ever visited for the last few years.
So, Jed, sorry, go back to the books. So, the other question I had was, that I know they're suddenly making a lot more money, but is there like a sudden quantity change? Like, as in, they were only selling 50 tons a week or whatever, and then suddenly it just went bang.
Some of that is about picking up these. Yeah, some of that is about picking up these military contracts. But yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's a bit of a boom.
Like sudden rapid expansion with no explanation. The war wouldn't
Well,
be
there's
enough to
no
explain
explanation. There's the explanation of this handwriting. That's how swiftly it changes. So this, and again, it comes back to.
So yeah, in the last few pages of this cheaper book, the quantities step up. The quantities begin ramping up. You start seeing clients being listed as such and such to the 8th, such and such to the 12th, such and such to Admiral whoever, that you weren't seeing earlier on in the book. And then the handwriting becomes a bit more flicky. It becomes, the serifs become exaggerated. The
like Luann said, she used the word what was it? Patron.
Yeah.
And that is very.
So he sold his soul to a demon to get better business or some shit. Is what
I'm trying to. Sorry, what I'm trying to allude is this is an outer worldly kind of thing that has suddenly produced this wood out of nowhere, because it wouldn't suddenly overnight a war started and suddenly they can fucking cut down 1 billion trees. They'd need more men to do that. That's my point.
You
might not be just the trees. It could be the food. It could be produce of the land. It could be some corruption of the land to nefarious means. The sorcerers, these vile creatures that exist in this land, that take their powers from other places, sometimes can take their powers from this place that we exist in. I read about them in the university.
I didn't read about them in the University of Life.
You're reading about them now, Jeffrey.
There was also the question of this star chart. There are scholars and astrologists that in times of old would consult kings and people who make decisions, and they would say the stars are in the right place or the wrong place. I don't quite know how it works, but there was a lot of new stars marked on the maps that the man Movis had in his room. Now, the only place I could really research this is High Lurry. Nothing like this in Port Marn or any other scholarly institute that I know of. So
we don't have time for that, Paul. princess or whatever she was.
No, we don't. Caitlin. Don't
Yes,
forget her
Caitlin.
name.
Lady Caitlin Stark.
But we have enough to talk to Faris again. Tell him what we saw. Maybe he can make more sense of it than we can. Maybe that should be our next port of call when we see him this evening. We try approach him cautiously.
Just before, I had another question.
Yes.
Did I catch an eye of the old man leaving the office? Or do I need to forget what I said about how he looked?
You did not see how he looked, I'm afraid, because of the way you were hidden.
No problem.
Yeah. So please forget what I said about the way he looks.
Okay. Yeah. So,
So the plan is to try and get Farrix's attention again?
Yeah, probably on the sly, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's easily done. Or you have the means to do that, so I'll let you work out what you'd like to do with certain things. The rest of you can obviously think about what you'd like to do next. That's all reasonable and fine. I'm going to.
the last point is I do want to tell the party that she did try and use her feminine magics on me.
Feminine magics.
Yes.
You can't have it.
Thought she was pretty ugly, to be honest.
Just because I'm sure Gav would have picked that up, but the others didn't. Or maybe Vic did. I don't know.
Well, I didn't. What are you talking about?
She tried to charm me to sit down.
Oh, well, if oh yeah, I would have been looking at her at the time. So I guess all I needed was an Arcana roll to check if she was.
Yeah.
I picked up if she was using magic,
Yeah,
which
no,
I'll give you here.
Saved it.
I rolled 18 plus 5 Arcana, so yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
So she might
Not
be
a spell I'm
wizard,
familiar with. That's why I was wary to cast anything upon herself.
Cool.
Okay. We will wrap the session there. The other thing then so I raised this earlier, but I said I wanted to talk about it when everybody was here, is how we're feeling using things like D&D Beyond, the tools and things that we're using. I've just seen now, so Wizards have posted a whole new some playtest details for a new Open Gaming License 1.2. They've said, so I'm going to have a read of that and see how we're feeling about that. Are we basically of the opinion that because none of us are paying for D&D Beyond, there's no need in boycotting D&D Beyond in any way,
no.
shape, or form? Okay. Have you been abreast of the?
Yes,
the
yeah. I follow
with that,
several
yeah.
D&D subreddits, so I'm reading
Yeah.
a lot of shit about
People
it.
are,
And my opinion is they've never got any of my money, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's basically it. And I'm kind of in that position myself of, well, luckily I'm not paying for it. If things get worse and if they start coming to us and saying, yes, you're going to need to pay.
I mean, if your man
play
cancels
D&D,
his
then-
subscription and we lose all the
That's
of the resources, we'll just fucking make it in a PDF or something.
Yeah, what I'd recommend is download PDFs of your character sheets now, because I don't expect James to do that without telling us, but he might.
Hey, maybe he's a fucking loyalist and he's like, yeah, these assholes, these assholes should pay for it.
He does have too much money. So it's a funny guy, good chap, but eccentric, should we say? Yeah, but they might be trying to pull it out of the bag. I'm not sure.
I think the sheer amount of backlash, they're not going to be pulling too much shady shit.
Yeah.
They won't be able to get away with it.
Anyway,
Anyway, I'm going to stop recording and carry talking.